Oops. Okay. Are you ready to go? So here we are. All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are here celebrating 7 years on YouTube, and I can see YouTube is way behind. They're lagging behind because it's 1 minute behind in my thing over here. Holy moly. And even Rumble is ahead of that. So I want to say hello to everybody. Let me put these things up here. GRE 2057 was the first one in here, and he wants a worm, but everybody else asked for cookies there. So, and I'll put this up here. Tom, if you see this, Jennifer is still in VCU, but in far better health. Hopefully this week she will be home. Glad to hear that, James. She had an infection. He let me know about it last week, and I put it up there on Rumble because I did a live stream last week on Rumble, but this is the first time here on YouTube. So hope everything is better with her now. Glad to see she is better. Okay. Fan of Trains 5972, how you doing? And John Benicki, how you doing? Kyle Stevens, how you doing? Jamestown. All these people came up here during the short, very short intro this time. And so this is a special edition celebrating 7 years on YouTube. And James says, I will post an update later on, Jennifer, on my channel. Okay, thank you for that. Robert Sacco, how you doing? Good to see you on here. Thank you all for subscribing to my channel, putting up with me for 7 long years. It's been a hell of a ride. Hey, Dan Brewer, good to see you in here. Okay, and Jamestown says, congratulations. Thank you very much. I'm going to show some videos on here that goes way back to the very beginning and show you how much things have changed. And also, I want to wish Sparky a happy birthday because it is also Sparky's birthday. So, wish everybody a happy birthday. I know he's older than 7 years old. I don't know if he'll share that. But if you want to, put up your age there in the chat. Okay. And he says hi to everybody. So I don't see him putting up his age there yet. But I'm sure it'll go up there, seeing how laggy YouTube is right now. Okay. Everybody wishing him, saying hello, and wishing him a happy birthday there. And James says he's 36. And Robert Sacco says 29. Yeah, there you go. I think he's a little bit older than that. Yeah. Okay, so I want to thank everybody, and to do it the right way, crank it up. Here we go. You can now support me on my locals community, Tom's Train of Thought. Membership is free, and by clicking the join button, you can support me for as little as $5 per month. Link is in the description and in the chat. Thank you for your contributions during the live stream. I really appreciate it. I would also like to thank all the moderators who have helped me out in the past years. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Jamestown put up there, almost over the hill, not looking forward to the downside if the last year was any indication. I remember getting a t-shirt when I was 30 years old, and it said over the hill at 30, but they kept on moving it back to 40, then 50, then 60, and 70. I'm not sure when over the hill is now, because it just keeps on getting older and older. So we'll see how over the hill is. But anyway, yeah, they had one when I was 40. I didn't get a t-shirt then because I had the 30. The 30 was enough right there. So I'm going to refresh this on here because it's driving me crazy because it's so far behind. Okay, that looks a lot better. All right. So, okay. So, anyway, 40, I believe, because of life experience. Okay. It's still 40? Okay. you got a ways to go before you're over the hill. But it could be younger now. I don't think so. I don't think it gets younger. It keeps on getting older and older. I wanted to wait until I was 70 before I retired, but I got hurt when I was 62 and I couldn't work, so I retired then. And I tried collecting Social Security, and that was crap. I said, "Holy moly!" And since I couldn't work, I had to find another means of supplementing my income. So I thought YouTube would be the best thing to do, and boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. I had to cash in all my 401ks and all my other retirements so I could make ends meet. But I started this YouTube channel June 25th, like it says right up here. And let me put this lower third up here. I forgot to put this up here. You know it, I hit the wrong button again. That was the wrong button. Here's the right button. Cash my 401. Yeah, I had a couple of them. I had to cash them in, and I had a nice retirement thing that I had to pay off my vehicle because I tried to sell my vehicle, and I couldn't get another loan for a new vehicle because my income was too high on Social Security, or was too low on Social Security. So I had to cash in my retirement to pay off the loan, and that gave me a little bit of extra money and paid off some of the other bills, and that helped for a little bit. But changed my plans altogether on everything. So here is the first thing. YouTube has changed a lot, tremendously. Oh my goodness. YouTube, and here's another thing. YouTube just blocked that one and held it for review. SSIC likes to screw you. So that is another thing that has changed a lot. You can't say anything anymore. Hey, Waycross Trains, how you doing? Good to see you in here. So one thing, they had a like videos on YouTube creators showing you how you could do things on there. And this was, 7 years ago. And you used to be able to put up a splash screen, create a 5-second splash screen, just like they do for premieres now. Like where you could where they have something up there before the premiere comes up, but it was like a 5-second splash screen. Well, I spent more time on that before I did my first video, so my YouTube channel was probably created long before June 25th, but June 25th was the first video, but I spent more time creating a 5-second splash screen, and so that is in this first segment here of the videos that I'm going to show you. And this is about 15 minutes long, and it's probably about the first 5 videos that I did, and I put them all together in like the first couple of the days because I had them all built up. So here we go. How you doing, Kyle Stevens? All right. that was my Big Five intro, second intro. Welcome to the Lincoln Creek and Big Rock Railroad. I've been working on this for many years, going back as far as 30 years, doing some of the kits on here. I really haven't had enough time to do it in the past, and since I retired recently, I've been working on it a lot more. Some of it is finished, and most of it I still have a lot of work to do on it. You can see what's going on here, and if you like it, you know, take a look at it, subscribe, and do whatever. Alright, now you get to see my face. I'm an old fart, yes. I've been doing this for a long time. Ever since I was a little kid. My dad had an American Flyer that got out during Christmas, and eventually it ended up in the basement and on a piece of 4x8 homosote, and we ran it around in a circle. We had 2 turnouts for it, and I started to get some buildings. I used my allowance, and I went down to Shink's Hardware in Duquesne and sat down there for maybe hours on end, just looking at the rolling stock and wondering what I could buy for $1, because the rolling stock was $1 each, and I had like $3 in my pocket, and that's where I got started. Okay, but since then I've been watching videos, reading magazines. I got a whole stack of magazines dating back all the way into the 70s, and I've been trying a lot of different things. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I made some progress on some stuff, did some right things. But I'm going to share with you the things that I found out in the last 50-some years, and hopefully it'll help you out. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, you know, somebody tells you something or you read something and, you know, it's just too hard or you can't understand it, and you got to take a little bit from every source and put it together and do what's comfortable for you. And hopefully I can help you out with that. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and techniques and failures and things to look out for. And okay, so whenever you do something, if it doesn't turn out right the first time, try it again. You know, eventually you'll get it right. But hopefully some of my tips will help you out. So here we go. This is my workbench over here. It's not normally this crowded. I have a bunch of different projects going on at the same time. I just tore up my layout. There was a few things on it that I didn't like, so I rearranged it, tore out some scenery, tore out some tracks, and I got some of the scenery here. Tracks are all over the place. I'm working on some trees right here. I got a wood kit right here that I'm working on. I bought some new paint and some new glue that I haven't put away yet, and you know, I got all my supplies over here in totes on the shelf and everything, so hopefully I can help you out. So have a good day and happily modeling. Years ago I read an article about felt being used for grass. That was long before you had flock grass. There was modeling a washout area where the grass was overlaying an area of dirt that you could see along a stream or along a swampy area. They took an old suede brush and toughed it up a little bit to make it look like grass hanging over the edge of the scenery. So I took that idea and changed it around a little bit, and I'm using felt on areas where I don't want to use plaster of Paris or hydrocal to cover up over top of other scenery, like on stone walls and stuff. And I'll show you what I have here. This is an area right here where I use the felt. I mean, you really can't tell where the plaster of Paris ends and the felt starts. I use the felt on the edge of the scenery where I have the stone walls and the tunnel porter. Okay, it comes all the way down to here. Eye ring on there. And I use this in places where I need to have access to the tracks. But see, underneath here's where I have the felt on there. And I attach it with the tape. Sometimes I glue it on, but since I found the transfer tape, I've been using that a lot for attaching things. I used it here, and there's another spot up here where I used it. Okay, there's still, right in here is a lift out. I have a access area right here. This area right here is a door that swings to the left, and then this area. I really thought that this idea about using felt would catch on, but this video hardly got any views on it. Right here is a door that swings to the right, and that gives me access to the tracks, or the track way in the back. Okay, and I've used the felt along this wall. If I would have used plaster on there, or plaster of Paris or hydrocal, it would have seeped down onto the rocks. But I just used the felt there and then covered it with the textures. It's easy to work with, and you could apply your scenery in the same methods, you know, using the glue or hairspray or however you want to use it. The way I use it is I wet it down a little bit and I spray it with alcohol. I use an old a bottle of hairspray. This is the kind I use, and the reason I use it is because you know, other than using those spray bottles that you could buy in any hardware store or the big box hardware stores, this has a finer spray, and it doesn't mess things up like the other ones do. I use this transfer tape right here. It's made by 3M, and it's really good for a lot of different uses. I use it for almost everything right now. I mean, I don't know what I did without it years ago, but here's another tip right here. I have a template for a switch machine. Okay, the slow motion switch machine. I made that out of styrene. I mean, they give you a paper template, and what I did was I put it over top of it and draw it out and cut the holes and everything. And what I do is I put the transfer tape on the back of it, and that gives me a chance to attach it underneath the layout, and I could drill my holes. Okay, here's a cordless drill, but sometimes you can't get in the areas with that bulky thing. I have a smaller one that's not as powerful, but I use the original cordless drill right here. This has worked for me for many, many years. I mean, I've had this, so I can't even remember when I got it, but it was a long, long time ago. I don't even want to mention, you know, how many years. You could pick up the felt at any arts and crafts store. You know, they have it at Michael's and Joann's and AC Moore, that's about, you know, all they have around in this area. But as you can see, it doesn't do too bad of a job on the scenery, and it looks pretty good.
Bill.
I have a little piece of styrene that I cut that I'm putting over top of the cracks that you see there, because that's where the edge of the access door is. That's about it for right now. I'll be coming back on soon with more tips and tricks. So, see ya. As you can see on there, most of the work on Leakin Creek and Big Rock Railroad was finished, or about 80% of it was finished before I even started my channel. And unfortunately, I didn't take a lot of videos beforehand. I took a lot of pictures, and Debbie took some pictures while I was building it, but not a lot of videos. And I didn't even, when I was in the process of building it, I didn't even think about making a YouTube channel because it wasn't on my mind. Because even though I've been on YouTube for about 16 years, I had another channel that I was doing family videos on. It never dawned on me to put stuff on YouTube because I didn't realize how many people were on there. Back then, there weren't a lot of people. There's been a lot more people since then, and most of the things that people were doing on there were just showing what they were doing on their layout, and that's why those first few videos was me showing the layout. But then I said, well, maybe I'm going to show how I do things, because people weren't really showing how they were doing things back then. So they were just showing the finished product, but that's coming up in what I got to show here. But this next one is, back then you had end screen elements. Aksham Tuja, congratulations, you have almost 30,000 subscribers and stuff. Yeah, it should have been more, but and hey, Frank, Steeler fan, good to see you in here. There you go. There goes the Jet Man. There you go. All right, glad you could make it in here. All right, we're celebrating 7 years on YouTube. But anyway, back then, now YouTube, gives you the option of putting in a pre-made end screen. But back then, when I first started, you had to make your own, and you had to put it in there. In the last part of it, you had to place it in there. But they did away with that when they came up with the automatic ones. So all the old ones that had all the other stuff in, all those elements that you put in there were removed. So a lot of things have changed on YouTube. Some for the worst, very little for the better. Notifications. Back then, you used to get an email notification when somebody put a YouTube video out, even though there was no bell notification or anything like that. If you subscribed to somebody, you got an email whenever they put a video out. So, but what happened to that? I mean, more and more, I get viewers telling me that they're not getting notification. I get subscribers saying, hey, Ken Amos Jr., he is on Rumble. And he's the first one that popped up on Rumble there. Okay, I'm also doing this on Rumble too. Yeah, the email, that seemed like an awesome feature. That was an awesome feature. And they did that for a while, the first couple of years that I was on there. And also, you could communicate with your subscribers through direct messaging, and they got rid of that also. Hey, Gerald Stewart, good to see you in here. YouTube, yeah, they keep saying YouTube is geared for mobile now. They keep on pushing it, but it's still hard to do. There's a lot of features that you cannot do on the mobile, that you still have to go on the browser to do it, especially for it's geared toward mobile for the viewer, but not for the creator. Yeah, and especially with the shorts thing, they're really pushing the shorts. I don't know why they're just trying to copy what YouTube or what TikTok is doing. TikTok was successful with that, and it's not doing anything for YouTube. They just keep trying to push it and push it. They keep trying different things with the shorts, different things. I mean, it's almost like almost 3 years now with the shorts, but it's not not as successful as the shorts on TikTok. Yeah, they definitely should bring back that direct message. I agree. Even though I didn't get any comments back, I think for the first 1,000 subscribers that I had, I direct messaged them and thanked them and told them how much I appreciated them subscribing. And some of the first subscribers was actually, my first one was Monline Productions. I think they're out of McKeesport or somewhere around there, close to my hometown. I think they saw the thing of me talking about Shink's Hardware, and then I got a subscriber from them. Bill Graham and a couple of other guys from YouTube Model Builders. Sparky subscribed, and BNSF 6951, Vinny subscribed, and a lot of the old timers on there subscribed right away. They're still subscribed, I think. I mean, based on my experience, I think YouTube Shorts shows better videos as your scroll than TikTok. I don't use TikTok. I never have used TikTok, so I can't comment on that. And Ken Amos Jr. says on Rumble, YouTube has done more damage to their own platform than anyone could ever dream of. Started out going and have slowly destroyed themselves. Yes, I agree 100%. Yeah. Thought I have your email. I think direct message would be easier. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and my email, tomstrainsandthings@gmail.com. Hey, C&EI John, good to see you in here. We're celebrating 7 years on here. Yeah, 2016 was the golden year for YouTube, and everything has gone downhill since then. I was really gung-ho about it. I really pushed for subscribers back then. I wanted to get to 10,000 subscribers so I can be YouTube certified. But before I was able to get to the 10,000 subscriber mark, they did away with the YouTube certification for individual and made it a business thing where you had to be a business, and you had to not only be certified in one category, but you had to be certified in all three categories, which I wasn't interested in. I just wanted to teach YouTube. So that messed up a lot of things. Yeah, especially with the copyright policies. Yeah, tell me about it. Even back in the very beginning when I started, I think in 2007, when it was young, I knew about the copyright thing, but they made it even worse. So I created my own music, and with Acid Music Studio, and that was something like Garage Band, where you could create your own clips and stuff like that. And I even got strikes, not really strikes, but I got notifications saying that other people claimed that because other people were using it. They were putting it on CDs, and there, the companies that were using the copyright stuff, was claiming all that stuff. And I mean, almost all of my videos on my other channel that Boring Family Videos, I had to write explanations about where my music came from, and I deleted a lot of them before I knew what was going on. But once I caught on what was going on, I kept the videos. I only have 43 videos on there right now, but a lot of them I just said the hell with it. I'm not going to mess with it. Yeah, if YouTube was around when I was a kid, I would have been doing a lot more, a lot sooner. Yeah, weathering. There you go. I think in 2021, they started using machine learning to automatically check your videos for copyright, and your videos could get easily partially blocked. I think it was a hell of a lot earlier than that, because I was getting notifications even before I started Tom's Trains and Things. Google had their, it was when they first started with Google bought them out, that started getting bad. I mean, the only good part that Google influence was their search engine. I mean, because the discoverability through that, I mean, you could find anything on YouTube that you want through their Google search engines, and that was the only good thing. But let me get back to this end screen element. They took that away, and let me show you what that was all about. And this is week 2, and I got a little bit more production value out of this. So here we go. Okay, now where is that thing? Ah, here it is. All right, there we go. I'm going to the beach. I got my boogie board in hand, and we're going to be off. It's a nice sunny day. Here we go. Oh no! The sun was shining just about a half an hour ago. I guess I'm going to have to go back up there and work on my layout. Well, see you up there. But maybe we'll go after I'm filming this. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I use these for here. It's really good on the knees. And let me get this beach stuff off here. I have all different shapes and sizes of these things, and we'll take a look at where I got them and what they're good for. Years ago, my daughter gave me this, or she left it with me at the house, and it says Thermoset on it. So I imagine that's
she used it
to sit on the cold music.
This is nice and soft, as you can see, like that. And it's, I guess it's the same
hey Lee, how you doing? Glad you can make it in here.
Devices.
All right.
I use them on my layout all the time. It's great on the knees. It doesn't hurt the knees, and if you have track below it, I wouldn't suggest putting it over top of trees or anything like that, because you'll smash them. But if you just have a little bit of ground cover around, or some ballast track and stuff like that, it's not going to hurt it. You could put it down on it, and it doesn't even leave an impression on it when you use it. I mean, it just springs right back.
Now they charge you in Home Depot and Lowe's like $14.99 for cushions like that, so you can kneel on them.
As you can see, I have access to the attic right above where I had some bench work, and eventually I took it out because living in Florida, that's where the air conditioner is. I had a much bigger area over here that I had tracks in this area right here, and this is when I started. I wrote these notes on the bracing. It says, open for attic access, 38 inches to the wall. That's where my...
I didn't pay attention to my own notes that I wrote on the bench work and went beyond that, and I had to later rip it out.
Measurements were, and I didn't heed my own advice when I wrote that down. I put these little eyelets and clips all over. You can see I put like 3 of them on each side so I can hang a sheet up there. I might have to go back up in the attic, so I just rolled this thing up here, but I could undo this right here, and with the sheet hanging down and I open up the top, I could put a ladder up there and don't have to worry about any of the insulation coming down on the layout. And then when I'm finished with it, just take it up and ready to go. There it is, rolled back up and ready for the next time I have to go up there. This brush I picked up at I think it was AC Moore or Michael's, one of them two. But
now, what did they say about mother of invention?
This is good for cleaning off the scenery and also on the water. You can get the dust and stuff off of there. It's just for light cleaning, and you can get it in there. I mean, if you got some really tight spaces, you could get a smaller one, but that's what I use it for here. And it works really well getting the dust and everything off of everything. I made these wall sections so they could just lift out when I need access to the back of them. As you can see, I put a little bit of bracing in there and used, you know, a couple of little pieces right there. And then on this one here, I made it a little bit heavier because it's longer. And then I have stops on the bottom of the layout, so this, you know, it'll just fit into the right place and sit where it's supposed to go. And then I put this little piece right above it. Right now I keep the eyelet in there because I'm moving it around pretty often. It makes it a little bit easier to pick up. Normally I just put a little vehicle right here, and that hides the eyelet, and that makes it work. That's our little maintenance away facility. It's a real small one, but it gets the job done. You got your ties over there and the rails, and you got some barrels over here, and this is where it sets. I use this to gain access to the tracks behind there and to get up onto the layout as you've seen before, and it works out pretty well. And no job is complete without the coffee cup, you know, when you want something hot. And then if you want a cold beverage, you got the little mini fridge right underneath there, so you don't have to go too far to get your favorite beverage. Here's what a nice sunny day looks like. It starts out like this, real nice. And let me just pan around 180 degrees. And you can see that it's getting pretty dark. And you can hear the thunder off in the distance. And it's raining really bad right down there. So that's why sometimes you can't go to the beach when you think you can. That's it for now. Join us again next time at Tom's Trains and Things. We'll be posting more videos of the model railroad and some tips and tricks and things that I've used and some of the mistakes that I've done. And you know, don't forget to click on these little things.
Yeah, this is where you would normally see the end screen stuff that you would put up by yourself.
Over here, you know, so you could subscribe and check out the whole page. So we'll see you, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Actually, I'll talk about that when this video right here is over.
One thing that I am really bad at is making trees. I'm going to show you a short video of what it looks like outside and what to look for in the trees, and show you some of mine that I have on my layout. Debbie thinks that my trees look good, but I'm really not satisfied with them. I don't want to have to live with them for the rest of my life. I keep saying that about everything, but I do things, and one of the things I do is make bad trees. So I'm going to show you some of the bad trees, and I'm going to show you some of the good trees outside, and you be the judge of it. It's a nice sunny day today, but boy is it hot. Just 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's already a heat index of 98 degrees. But I got things to do in the house and the air conditioning where it's nice and cool. I think I'll go back in there and do something inside. But first, I'll give a little view of the area.
Make sure you get some close-ups so you can get the detail of the bark on the tree, and also get some close-ups of the leaves so you know what they look like and how the branches come out of the tree.
All shapes and sizes and different colors. You should go outside and take some video or take some snapshots and do some close-ups so you could see what kind of detail and all different colors involved. This is Southwest Florida, but you know, in other parts of the country you'll have some different trees, but you get...
Yeah, but sometimes that don't work. Debbie opens her mouth sometimes, and I end up spending more money.
The idea. Even the ground cover, you know, and all the weeds and little bushes and wildflowers and everything else. You can learn a lot from just looking outside in your area, or if you could take pictures of the area that you're modeling. Or if you're doing freelance, you know, it could be any area. Like anything that you want them to make. Usually we got a lot of different birds out here by now, and I could see them flying around, but the bigger ones, they're not here. But you could also put little birds in your scenery. I found one on a roadside marker the other day. We was out driving around and we stopped and looked and took a couple of pictures of them. Now, the camera's not too steady right now, but you get the idea. You get all shapes and sizes and all different lengths. They're all mixed in together.
I still have to drink a lot of water to keep hydrated.
And don't forget the dead branches and the bushes underneath the tree. That makes for some good detail with your models.
I'm going inside where I could cool off. Yeah.
In this video, I'm not going to show you how to make trees, because I really don't know how to do them really well, and there's hundreds of other videos out there that shows you how to do it. I'm going to suggest to go out there and take a look at it and do the best one that you know how to do. Get some ideas from going outside and taking a look at trees and seeing what you could get in the hobby shops or online, and work with that.
Well, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you come back and see some more. Happy railroading, and have fun. See ya, and thanks for watching.
All right, so humidity doesn't really pose a problem as long as you got air conditioning. I don't have air conditioning in the garage, but I keep the door open here, and I got a fan blowing from the main room all the time. And I have a fan overhead here, so it keeps it pretty cool. The temperature in here is I can't I can't tell. But the humidity is 65% or something like that. So it stays all right. And Gerald says Nightbot isn't working. I noticed that. I'm not sure why Nightbot is not working today, but that's a good thing, because Nightbot was being bad, but YouTube blocked some words earlier. So let's get back to what Aksham was saying. Let me pull up his message here. A YouTube channel called The Unlucky Tug was deleted for basically having a different channel under the same email account that got 3 copyright strikes. That's YouTube does that. If one channel gets strikes, you're done with all your channels under that email account. You cannot create another one, no matter how many subscribers you have. So all accounts under that email got deleted, but there's nothing in YouTube terms that they would delete all your accounts. Yes, when you have a strike on your email, on your account, everything is gone. Nick created the channel again, but he has lost over 100,000 subscribers. He makes content about Thomas and tank engines. Yeah, you can't fight YouTube. They will get you. My grandson created an account, and he ignored. he was Creative Carter, and he was actually underage when he did it, but he used music on there, and he got 3 strikes, and he can no longer create anything on YouTube. So, I mean, they do it to everybody. Even some of the big names, they've done it to. And unfortunately, that's how YouTube is, and you cannot dispute it, no matter what you do. And then Frank says, when did Doritos come into play? That was a little bit later on. I had a bag of Doritos on the on the layout, and somebody noticed it, and and after that I just kept on putting it up there. Does making instrumentals count as copyright? You could make your own music, and you could play your own music on there. You could sing the music, but you cannot put commercially available songs on there that have that are created by other artists. But you can sing and play other music that is created by other artists. Or you can go on Epidemic Sound and get music on there, $15 a month. It's in the description where you can do that. But if you go on to Rumble, they don't care. They don't have it. Vimeo doesn't push it. I have a Vimeo channel. In fact, when I started my first channel, the quality of the videos on YouTube were so bad that I started putting them on Vimeo because they were more advanced than YouTube. It wasn't until Google took over that YouTube got better. And Vimeo still has better quality, I think, but you have to pay more on Vimeo to keep videos on there. I still have a Vimeo channel, and I still upload on there. I'm limited to how long the video is and how many I could put up per week, but I still put stuff on there. Instrumentals of songs created by someone else. Yeah, you could, if, like I said, if they have a copyright on it, you cannot do it. But if you do the instrumental yourself, you could put it up there. So there's no, I don't think there's a restriction on there. But yeah, but Epidemic Sound, if you want to put music on there, that's a good way. YouTube has their music library, but it's kind of lame. And they have something new. They call it a beta. I haven't looked in it, but I noticed if you look on YouTube Studio, let me pull over YouTube Studio over here. And down on the bottom, Creator Music Beta, bringing your videos to life with Creator Music. I haven't looked into this yet, but they've had music on here. In fact, some of the music that I used on the first few videos came from the library. More tracks at no charge, license, protect your videos, revenue sharing. But I don't use that. I used Epidemic Sound because they have a lot better music than YouTube does. So I just stick with what I get from Epidemic Sound, and it's much better. But that's a lot of things that are going on in YouTube that makes things harder to do. So I got another one here. I started doing at the workbench. And my first topic at the workbench is how model railroaders were complaining about how the hobby was dying. But they were always complaining about young people not getting involved. But, as I watched more and more, a lot of the clubs, going to train shows and going to different clubs, a lot of the clubs were discouraging young people. They would say, don't touch that, boom. And at train shows too, don't touch that, But some of the clubs like N-Track, Orlando N-Track, they encourage young people to go. And a lot of the other model railroad clubs encourage it. But some of the old farts don't like it. Too expensive for young people. They could spend $1,000, $1,100, $1,200 on a cell phone. They can afford it. There's a lot of younger people in here that have a lot of good ideas. Hey, Reggie, how you doing? Good to see you in here. All right, we're celebrating 7 years on YouTube. I'm also streaming this on that other place, called Rumble. And the thing about YouTube is they just put more and more restrictions on here. But what I was saying with how everybody was complaining about the young people. I don't see it, especially here in Florida. I go to the train shows and I see a lot of kids, and I know a lot of young people that are in college that have a lot better stuff than us old folks. Yeah, I hope I don't come across any of those. I've come across quite a few of them. Some of them in the train shows. You're getting ready to go to work. I hope it's for work and not for any procedures or anything like that. I know you work night shift. All right. I mean, if clubs will discourage, there's a lot of clubs that, and it's mainly because of the old timers there. They don't like, younger people touching their stuff. If clubs will discourage young people from getting into the hobby, then it won't be long before the hobby dies. But there are a lot of clubs that are encouraging. Like I said, Orlando and Track. A lot of the clubs here in Florida encourage it, but there are some of the modelers in those clubs that are grumpy old men that no matter what, they're going to push people away. Yeah, Reggie, work. Okay, all right. See you later, Reggie. And don't work too hard. But here's let me get this third video up here. And this one is 10 minutes long. It's more than one video. I'm putting these videos together. Now, my videos are 10 to 16 minutes long. Back then, they were a lot shorter. So here's what we got. Hey, Bill's Fusion Enterprise. Time for a dad joke. Bring them on, because here comes the video.
Hi everybody, welcome back to At the Workbench. We're going to call this one episode 2 since this is the second one I'm doing. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the hobby itself, model railroading. For a few years they've had this campaign about world's greatest hobby, trying to influence younger people to join and more people to get into the hobby. I guess because the numbers are falling down. And then I just read an article the other day about the NMRA. Their numbers are down also, and somebody was criticizing why they were down in numbers. And probably the biggest thing is that a lot of the younger people just aren't getting interested anymore. So we need to get the younger people interested in this again. And probably the best way to do that is, take your kids and take your grandkids out to some train shows, or during Christmas time, there's a lot of places that have displays. So take your kids out to see the trains, see them, see them at Christmas, see them at the train shows, or take them to a hobby shop. Get them interested in looking at the stuff. That spark their interest in the hobby. That's how all us older folks got interested. We all grew up with either Lionel or American Flyer, under the Christmas tree, and your parents bought you a train set and you got started that way. So just remember that's how us older folks got started, and that's the way we could do it with the younger kids too. Just get them interested in it. A lot of people got their little cell phone, and they're constantly looking in it and doing whatever, and they got apps for that. But also for running your railroad, they also have apps for that on your Android phones and your iPad, or iPhone or iPad. From what I understand, they work better on the Android phone. They do have the apps for the iPad, but there's some little glitches in it yet. But hopefully that'll be worked out. And it's all interfaced through JMRI, through the computer. So, you know, get them interested in it that way. I mean, you could run your locomotives from your cell phone with a little throttle. And I'll show you a picture of that. I have a little folder right here. Train apps. Okay, there's DigiTrains, DigiJack's Toolbox, and Engine Driver. Engine Driver is the JMRI interface. I have an old XP computer where I'm running JMRI with my Digitrax DB150, and all you have to do is turn the power on. Okay, and you got to make sure that you have a router hooked up to your computer, separate from the rest of your stuff. Used just specifically for the railroad. I bought an old one from the thrift store. I paid I think $2 for it, and just hook it up directly, you know, hardwire to the computer. Whenever you open up your app, it'll show. Well, it's got 3 of them up here, but it has the name of the railroad and the port number on it. So just take connect, and then you could. This is the locomotives that I have on the roster so far. I'm going to show you the one that's right in front over here. That's the Alco S2. You hit the bell. Okay. It runs the bell. I got it in reverse. There's the throttle right here, and you just advance it like that. Change direction. And then you have a press to select. You can select a different locomotive, and you can also release it on here. Click on release. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in a
I'll
number
see if I
on
can find
here.
it.
I'm going to put 03 because I didn't address it yet. And
That's all the way back in 2016.
Prior, and okay, that's over on the other side, so I'm going to take you over there now. Okay, I have the new locomotive selected. I used 03 on here, and I could, well, let me try to get the locomotive in there. I could turn the light on and off right there, the bell, and the horn. But you can see that you could operate it. There's the throttle right here. You just set the throttle up, and there you go. And you know, you operate it from here. You can operate your turnouts if you have them, you know, in your JMRI program to do that.
Yeah, glad you got to see it, Reggie.
And you can increase the throttle. And drop it down. I'm going to reverse it now, and we'll just bring it back.
Well, not necessarily now, because in the new version of DCC-EX, well, it's not out yet, but in version 5, you'll be able to run your DC from DCC-EX with an app. And there will be more on that in a little bit.
And while you're doing that, you could
go.
press to select and you can choose another locomotive. I'll go back down to the Elko, and so you have two on here. And I could turn the horn on the other one that's over on the other side. You can barely hear it, with it. You get the idea. Okay, I'm gonna slow this down here to a stop. Turn the bell off. And if you notice on here, you have all your functions that you could select all the way up to function 28. Unlike on a regular throttle where you could only go up to maybe 10 or 12, and then you have to, hit a button to go up into higher numbers than that. So all your functions all the way up to 28 are on here. I'm going to continue making episodes of At the Workbench. This is the second one, and hopefully the next one I do, I'm going to actually show you how to do something at the workbench. So thanks for watching. I'm not sure if it's on this side or this side that the things are at, but click on it and watch some more videos that I have on there, and learn something, have fun doing a hobby, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Okay, the app that used in there was Engine Driver right here, but there's another app that DCC-EX put out. It's called EX Toolbox, and you can get that by going to DCC-EX. And let me see if I can get the website up here. There's GitHub. Okay. Okay, I don't have it here right now, but let me get it up here. DCC-EX. Okay, here we go. But in their new version coming up, it's not out yet, but they do have a under development version, and I think this is it right here, where you could play around with it. It's on GitHub, and this is the development level. Oops, not that one. Okay, hold on. I did it wrong. Hit Control C. Okay, there you go. But in this one here, if you're more advanced, you could download that one. And you could test out what they have in store for version 5. But you'll be able to run DCC and or DC not on the same track. On DC you still have to separate the tracks and still have to have districts on there, but you'll be able to operate it through the app on your cell phone. So that's a good thing coming up. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not that advanced, I would wait till version 5 comes out. I downloaded this, but I haven't played with it yet. I have the latest version right here that I run this one, but I'm going to put the dev version on that and try it out for on here, because you do automation on there. And Ken Amos Jr. on Rumble says, my wife and daughter told me I should video the making of my 12-stall Walther's Roundhouse and Sierra West Sawmill. He showed me the Sierra West Sawmill. That is an amazing kit, and I agree with him. Yes, Ken, you should make some videos on it. Daughter said Sawmill will triple my YouTube subscribers, and I agree 100%. And he also said, if I do it, it'd be on Rumble, not YouTube. Yeah, YouTube has lost my interest other than keeping up with my fellow friends. Yes, that's why I'm putting a lot more stuff up on Rumble. Would you need another shield for DC functionality along with DCC? No. Although I did buy the shield that they just put out, and the only reason I bought the other shield is because you only need one power supply. So if you plug your power supply into the shield, it'll also run your Arduino. So before you needed one for your motor shield, and you also needed one for your Arduino to run it on your layout. And another good thing is about it, you can see right here where you plug in your A and B, you could pull these out, and so you could move it away from it. Because see here, right here is where the layout is connected, and I have the plug still connected on my layout. So when I put this back over there, all I have to do is plug it in instead of playing with the little screws on here to wire it up. So that's one advantage of it. But you could still use the old like Deke Robot or the Arduino motor shield and still have that functionality. It's not tied into the new one. It's tied into the software, not the shield itself. But check it out. Check it out. You could learn more on Discord, and I'll put the Discord link up here. I can give you a link and put it up in the stream here. As soon as Discord opens up, it's going around and round. And I'll get to the I'll get to that one in a few seconds here. Okay. Let me get the invite up here. And I see that in the announcements, they still don't have the new version up. And I got to make it so it's never expires because I put it up on here. Okay, copying. Okay, and there is the invite for Discord. And I'll put it also put it up on Rumble also. So there you go. Let me get Discord out of the way right here. And okay, so what advice tips would you give to someone who is about to make an 8x5 wooden table for their first model railroad? Look at my old videos, Model Railroading for Beginners. There is a lot of information in there. It starts off from the very beginning. Do some research on what you want to do. Decide what scale you want to do it in. That's the biggest thing. If it's 8x5, you're limited to HO or N scale or even smaller Z scale. But do a little bit of research, watch a lot of videos. Make it ready to make bigger, yeah, and that's another thing. Be able to expand on it because you'll want to keep that and expand to maybe a shelf layout later on, or like I have over here around the room. We always run out of space. Yeah, there you go. And like I have on here, this half of my layout over here is a shelf, but I had that up in my other house, so I disassembled it, and making a shelf layout into modules is a lot easier than doing a large 8x5 because that, if you ever move, it's hard to move around. And what I found out the hard way that I wanted to save a lot of the stuff from Leakin Creek, but I ended up having to cut everything up into small pieces, and I don't have any of it up here now, but I plan on putting some of those small pieces up there. But try to make it into smaller modules to where you can move it and connect it with other parts. Look into T-Track also. And in my video that I'll be bringing out on the Tallahassee Train Show, they have a lot of T-Track modules on there, and you'll see that. I haven't worked on it yet, but I'll have that video out sometime this week. And to build, tell another joke. Oh, that's the same joke. I tried to go to a moving sale today, but I couldn't keep up with it. Catch up to it. There you go. You're always good for those good dad jokes. There you go. You should create a Discord server. I have a Discord server, but I created it when I had more time when I lived at the other house, and I spent a lot of time on that. Hey, yeah, Jim Tedesco, it's not Monday. Yeah, but it's Sunday, and I'm celebrating here 7 years on YouTube. Yeah. I do have a Discord server. I'll put the invite up to her, but I'm not active on it now. Let me pull Discord back up. So I could give you an invite to mine. Yeah, and I'll address that also. Okay, let me see. Bring mine up. Invite people, and when they always have only for 7 days, so you have to go in there and make it for a longer time. My Discord. And there's the invite for my Discord. And like I said, I have, let me see, how many do I have on there? 113, 14, 15, 16. I got 117 people on my Discord, but you know, it's you could post stuff on there, but I don't have I don't spend a lot of time on there. I should go back and spend more time on it, and maybe I should, but there's the invite to it. And let me put it up here also on there. For you people on Rumble, there's my Discord invite on there also. And Ken Amos Jr. said, I did a small loop with the grandkids and their new 5-amp motor shield and was playing with it, learned how it works. So far, I like it. All right. Good to hear. I'm glad you like it, Ken. Okay. You can link the server in your video description so that people can always join a community. I used to have it in the video description, but I'm moving away from doing that. I have it on my webpage, and a lot of time when you go in for the invite on that, you have to go in there and change it because the normal invite is only good for 7 days. So you have to change it for it never expires. Okay, so, and let's go back to this. To move it, I guess you have to remove the table legs and transport the tabletop and legs separately. Yes, that's what I did. I removed that. But what I found out is make modules, make them smaller than the 8 foot by 5 foot because it's easier to move and easier to connect it back up when you're doing it. And what I found out is, you know, YouTube or not YouTube, but Model Railroader always suggested the L girder construction. Forget about it. I did that, and the L girder construction that I did, I had to completely destroy it. The only thing that I was able to keep was the wood. So that's the only thing good about that. And Steve 87th, how you doing? Glad you can make it in here. And thank you very much. It's been a long journey. Hey, he just shot for the moon. If you miss, you must be a stormtrooper. Okay, those are getting worse. And there's Leonard Skinnerd. Hey, how you doing? We're celebrating 7 years here on YouTube. Let me put this back over here. You can see celebrating 7 years on YouTube. There was my first video upload, June 25th, 2016. So which video did we just do? Okay, so that was just 3 weeks in, and I had one video that gained some traction, but it was slow. In the first 2 weeks, I only got 54 views on it. Right now, it's got 57,000. It's not my biggest producer. My biggest producer was my 10 most common mistakes, and I really didn't think that it would gain that much, but what I was really doing was testing out the green screen, and I might show that later, maybe not, because this one is 10 minutes long, and then I have a couple of more that it gets a little bit longer, but I don't think I'm going to stay on that long because it's already 10 after 6, and we got to eat dinner yet. I forgot about that. So let me see what else we got in here. Yeah, Jamestown said, make your layout lightweight to move it. It usually a good idea. Yeah, and stay away from the L girder and make it into small sections. Make modules out of it, and check out the model railroading for beginners, and disregard the stuff that I said on bench work about L girders because go to modules because it's easier to do. Hey, David Thompson, good to see you in here. Thanks for watching. I ate while watching this. Yeah, the only thing is we're having hamburgers and I have to make them. So, I'll have to put them on maybe during the. There's a 24-minute one for at the workbench. I started getting longer and longer, and I'm still showing stuff from the first month. Okay, my neighbor could not afford his water, so I got him a get well soon card. Okay. All right, so streets and sidewalks only got, like I said, 54 views in the first 2 weeks, and it was slow. It was slow, and I think it was 2 years before it went up. So sometimes, videos that you put out, you hope to get views on it, and you think it's a good idea. Not all the time it's a good idea, but every once in a while it'll gain traction. This one, it was my very first one that got a lot of views, but it's not my biggest producer. So here it is. I think, let me see if I could. Yeah, this is just the video of that, but here it goes. Or, okay, let me do this. Okay, and I can see my deal froze up. My camera froze up again, so I had to redo the camera there. Okay, so there we go. You got a side view of me looking like this. I don't know how long that was up there like that, but I just noticed it on here that it froze up. But anyway, are there templates, diagram examples on table designs that have good structural integrity? What I like to do, use 2x2s going down, crisscross this way, and do it. I'm not a good woodworker, but there are many videos on there on how to build your layout, how to build your woodwork. The 2 videos that I did on layout on your woodwork, it has a lot of good ideas in there, and I think it shows you how to build it and build some good structure on it. So let's get on to this one here, streets and sidewalks.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Tom's Trains and Things. Today we're going to talk a little bit about styrene and acrylic used for streets and sidewalks. Here's a little example of each. The acrylic that I use is 93 thousandths, and it's a scale 6 inches approximately for HO scale, so it works out pretty good. And the acrylic, or the styrene, I use 40 thousandths for the streets, and what I do is I cut them a little bit narrower. I get the acrylic at Home Depot. There's the thing right there. It's 11 by 14. I get various sizes for whatever scene that I'm doing.
Here's a view of the block. I'm going to be pulling this out in a second, just to show you what it looks like. It's removable. I make all my city streets like this. As you can see, I can just pull it right off of the layout.
And what I do is I take styrene strips on the bottom for spacers to keep it at the same height. On here I don't put a ridge in the street, I just leave it flat. I don't get into that much detail on it. There's other places where I do put a little ridge in there, but when I do that I use a 10,000 styrene, so it bends real easy. And I put a little strip of styrene,
similar.
a real thin strip of styrene down the middle to give it the ridge in the center of the street. Here's a section that I did. Here's the bottom part of it. Okay, and you can see I hit it with primer, gray primer, and I put it on the one side only, the side that I'm going to use. And I do little scenes for the city. And this makes it easy to take it off and do some more detail to whatever you have on there. And as you can see, I put some detail in the back of it also. You know, even though there's a lot of modelers that don't do anything to the back, but I like to do it because I may move this at one time, and then I have it finished. So here's my little scene for the city street. And every once in a while I'll take it off and I'll tweak it a little bit. I'll put a little bit more detail on it. Or if my people fall off or break off, there's a couple of pieces that I have to put on there. I have a couple of people on there, and I have a roof vent that fell off, so I have to reattach that one. All these models right here that I have them on styrene. You can see the cracks where they are because I don't have them permanently down. I just have them here temporarily for right now until I attach them. And what I do is I put the tape underneath it at the joints to keep all the joints down. And I'll pull one of these up here. You see, and there it is. And that way, if you need to move it out of the way to do some maintenance or anything, you have it where you can move it easily. I'll just set that right there on the tracks like that, and you can see it like that. You'll notice that I have a lot of Bar Mills models here. I'm not getting paid by them, but I like their models. And also for Foss scale models. I think they're really good. They have a lot of detail in them. Okay, on the base of the models, I use a 60,000 styrene. Okay, and as you can see here, I have Ghibli furniture here. And this way, if you have to do any little tweaking of, or adding a little bit more detail or doing some touch-up, you could just pull it right off and put it on, take it up to your workbench, and you could do the work that you need on it. In here I have a little guy working inside there. I need to add a little bit more detail when I get some figures painted. I have one guy in there now on a little workbench, but I can take the roof off, and I have the piping for the exhaust, the dust catchers, but I could take the roof off, and as you can see, I have a little bit of detail in there. I have to put a little bit more in there. I'll build my models, and then I'll put them on the layout, and I'll pull them off every once in a while and add a little bit more detail. You know, as I find things, I got a lot of water towers that I need to put up there, and roof access that looks good because you're always looking down at the top. Here's another half I have that I could pull up.
I have a lot more detail work to do on this half here. I got to put some more people on here, and a little bit of garbage, and you know, barrels, and as you can see, I have a lot more work to do on the roof. I have a lot more details to put up there.
This entire street right here is on sheets of styrene. I have them between two tracks, and it fit just right. I cut the styrene just to make it fit in between the tracks. It's a little bit narrower than scale for the streets, but to get the effect of, you know, having a street there, sometimes that's the way you have to do it. You know, these are just set down here in place for right now, and then I have to go back and tape them down with the tape in between the joints, and then do a little bit more tweaking, do a little bit more scenery around it so you can't see the edges of it. These buildings right here are Walthers, and it comes on a sidewalk. But what I did was I took a piece of styrene about the same thickness and added some more buildings to the street. I got some old DPM buildings there, and I modified them to fit into the area.
Here I have the city block on the workbench. You can get a close-up view of it, and you can see that they're old DPM models. Some of them I put together, maybe 20 years ago or more. I bought them when they were like $5 or $6 a piece. Now they're a little bit more, and this one right over here, the Tom's Machine Works, is I think an old Atlas kit that I kit bashed. I turned it around on its side and put a loading dock over there, so actually the side would be the front of it. Debbie's Thrift Shop is transitioning from Grants, and Skip's Chicken and Ribs is from Woodland Scenics Dry Transfers. I just made a new sign for up on the top. I put some people up on the second floor, a guy talking to his wife with a little baby. And I do that every once in a while, put people in there. As you can see on the roof, I need a little bit more detail. I got the sign up there. I made that. I got that from the Yellow Pages. It was just an ad in the Yellow Pages I took out, and I put it on some basswood and attached it to the top. I have view blocks in the upper floor so you can't see through the windows from front to back, but on the lower floors I have them so you could see through it through the back. Here's the side and the back of the buildings. I detail them too, not as much, but
You know, I just keep it simple, you know, just in case I want to use the building someplace else at a later time. I add floors to the insides, and sometimes I'll leave a door open so you could peek in and see what's inside of there. Sometimes I put details in there, sometimes I don't. I glue the roofs on lightly so I could take them off in case I want to put some details on the inside that you could see through the windows. I picked up a little laser cut kit from Bar Mills Models twin roof entry that I'm going to put up on the roofs. You could say this is a sneak peek for my next episode of At the Workbench. I'll be showing you how I do that and a couple other things on the city block that I removed.
Well, that's it for today. Like Debbie told me, I should say at the end of this, gotta run. Don't forget to subscribe and watch my other videos at Tom's Trains and Things. And thanks for watching. We'll see you.
All right, that one was supposed to switch back over to this view, but it didn't. All right, so acrylic has gone up, and they've been talking about that on Rumble here. And Ken Amos Jr. says just buy standard grade laminate for 60 thousandths, cheaper than acrylic, because acrylic went up in price after COVID because they said we use well over 5,000 sheets of quarter-inch acrylic doing sneeze guards, teller shields, and stuff for businesses. Oh boy! And Rob says Debbie is quite the HO scale entrepreneur. She has a lot of businesses. That's for sure. She's all over the layout. Here, Bill's got another one here. Speaking of the heat, farmers in Texas are feeding chickens crushed ice to keep them from laying hard-boiled eggs. Okay, and they're getting cornier, getting cornier there. So yeah, that one made 57,500 plus views, but it took a long time to get that one out there. But there's a lot of good information on there about the streets and sidewalks, and showed off some of my other models in there. So this next video is a little bit longer. Which one is it? Video number 5. Holy cow. Rob says, I have been feeding chickens pots of boiling water to help cook them quicker. There you go. I'm going to need medicine to keep laughing at Bill. or get a diaper so I won't have to piss my pants. There you go. So this next one is me building tower gas. Or no, is this tower gas, or which one is this? No, this is the roof access hatches. On these are Bar Mills. You get 2 roof access. This is a 24-minute long one. And so sit back, grab your favorite beverage. It's a long one. And I started at the workbench, I started doing longer and longer ones. And this is with my life cam. It's 720, and I had it straight up above the workbench. But you'll see. So here we go. And more goofy music.
everybody, and welcome back to Tom's Trains and Things. This is At the Workbench, episode 3. Today we're going to talk about adding a few details onto some buildings and sidewalks that I knocked off while doing some other work. And I'm going to assemble a kit from Bar Mills Models. It's a roof access door. There's actually 2 in there. I'm going to put one on top of Blocker Furniture building, and I'm going to use another one on top of a building that just to hide the edge of a mirror. So hope you learned something from today, and I'll just keep the videos coming.
This kit has 2 access doors, so I'm going to use one on top of the Blocker Furniture and remove the little access hatch that I have on there. And the second one I'm going to put on a building that I have at the back of my layout so I can hide the edge of a mirror. You'd be surprised how much dust you could accumulate on top of buildings without even knowing it. As you can see, there's a lot on top of this one here. I'm just going to tip it over and dust the rest of this off and get it cleaned off a little bit before I start working on it. First thing I'm going to do is glue a couple of pieces on here that I knocked off while I was working on some other things. I got a little man over here in the corner, and then I got a roof vent up on the top of one of the other ones. So I'll get going with that, and then we'll work on a few more things on this project. The first thing I'm going to show you is I took a little tongue depressor you get in a package of 100, and glued some sandpaper on it, and then I marked on both sides of it, 100 and 180, and you could use it to sand anything you need. You could put different grits on different tongue depressors, depending on how coarse or fine that you want to use for your particular situation. Right here I'm sanding down the area where I knocked one of the guys off. The one guy with he's tipping his hat in front of the police officer. I'm sanding down the glue that's on there, and once I get that down to the bare surface, I'll start sanding the guy's feet. I'll just brush a little bit of this off and then sand a little bit more. There's a little bit more that I have to take off on here. And that feels nice and smooth now, so I'm finished with the sanding on here, and I'm ready to sand the guy's feet. So we're going on to the next step. I don't know, Bill. Rob, Why Are You Naked on Rumble is outdoing you over there. He says, I have no use for tongue depressors. My tongue is already depressed. And he said, I have been feeding chicken pots of boiling water to help cook them quicker. So you got I have to make sure that Seymour you gotta hurry up and get some better ones. Hamburger Helper. Nah, I'm making my own, not Hamburger Helper. Or has flat feet, so he could stand on the sidewalk again. I'm just going to take a little bit off the glue off of his feet and get him ready to put back onto the sidewalk. He's lost and asking directions for the police officer. I'm going to use Instacure on this one. It's a quick drying super glue, and I'm going to also use the quick set to make it just go just a little bit faster, so I don't have to hold Seymour in place for a long time. I spray a little bit on the sidewalk, and then I'll put some of the super glue on Seymour's soles, and we'll just stick them down there and see what happens. Just put a little bit of a drop on there, and make sure it's not too much so it doesn't go all over the place. And then I'll just set them down on the sidewalk for a few seconds, and he should be good to go. I get impatient a little bit, I don't want to hold him there for too long of a time. So that should be enough, and I'll see, and there he goes. He's doing fine. I use the Instacure on this situation because it dries really fast, and it's
it's real thin, so you can control the amount that you get on there, unlike the thicker slow drying glues. Now I'm going to reapply the roof vent on Tom's Machine Works. That's another thing that I ended up knocking off whenever I was working on the stone wall behind there. I just have to take a little bit of the old glue off of there, so you have a nice smooth surface to work with, and so I could put it back up onto the roof. I got to make sure it's nice and smooth and flat, and we'll be ready to go to turn this around and sand some of the roof up on top of the Tom's Machine Shop. I'm going to take a little bit of the glue off that was on the roof with my sanding stick, and do basically the same thing, but the only thing this time, I'm going to put the Instacure on the roof and then spray the roof vent with the Instafix. It doesn't matter on what you spray on what, it's just a matter of preference. You get the same results on it, so there it is. Okay, here's the card for the roof. Here's the bracing. They always give you an ample amount of bracing for everything. Put that over here, and it looks like that's the rafters. Here's the sheet with all the sides. There's actually two kits in here. And this is the trim that goes along the edge of the roof, and here's the window acetate, and this is the actual roof. And you color this, and it has a sticky back to it, and you put it on there as for the roof. Okay, here's the doors and windows, and my dog barking, and details. They always have a good set of instructions with it. Sometimes they leave the things out, but these kits here, they probably have the best instructions of any kit that I've ever had, and they have helpful tips. I usually put this on the smaller kits, the starter kits. I got this one here. I've done a lot of the other kits, but I need the roof access, so I'm doing a small kit right now. It's always good to start off with a new blade. And I'll start cutting these out of here. You just cut the little tabs. Okay, I think I got all the tabs cut out right now, so these will just fall right out of here like this. Okay. The first thing I do is I just run the edges along the piece of sandpaper. For the bracing, the first one I'm going to do is the door. I'm just going to make this a little bit shorter than the eave right here, okay? And normally I would just mark it and cut it later, but cut it on the chopper. But since these are so small, I mean, they normally give, on a regular model, they normally give you a 5/32, but I think this is about a 1/16 of an inch square. So I'll just cut that. I'll make 4 of those. And it doesn't matter if you do them a little bit longer. I mean, you could always cut them off at the bottom. Okay, sometimes it's a good idea just to make them a little bit longer. And we leave these little tabs right here on there just so that the door doesn't break while you're working on it. I use Aleene's quick dry tacky glue. You could use the regular drying one, the quick dry. I never seen a difference in it, but that one's supposed to be the quick dry one. I have a scrap of styrene right here, and I just put a little bit of the tacky glue on there. Put a dab of it. I'll just put a little bit of the glue on here and just run it along one of the edges. I mean, it's going to be on the inside, so you don't have to worry about it, you know, seeing it or anything. But you know, I just like to just put a little dab of it on there. On the front and back pieces, I'm going to use this little square here to put the pieces up against there. So you have a nice square side, and that'll go like that. So I'll do the rest of them, and we'll see what that looks like. So I finished with all the bracing on here, and you know, you put an extra little piece up here for the side with the door. And normally I would put the let me wipe this off right here. Normally I'd put the corner bracing on the long side walls on here, but since this is, you know, this is so delicate with the door right here, and you need this extra bracing on here to begin with, I put the corner bracing on the short walls. On the walls right here with the windows, I put an extra piece in here since I couldn't put a long one over here. So I put the long one right here, and then I put another short one on this side of the window right here. So right now we're ready to prime this thing. I'm going to let the glue set overnight, and then tomorrow morning I'm going to prime it. On these doors and windows, what I'm going to do is cut these screws off of here like this on there while I paint it. And I'll do the same thing over here. I could hold it. I'll hold it with the little tweezers when I'm spraying, and then I'll be able to get it like that. And then I'll just have to touch up the little dots right there where it's attached. See, right here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there's a little. You can see a little bit right there. It's sticking up. So we'll just scrape it off. And what we do, if we mess up the detail a little bit, and just take this is an old blade right here, so I just take it and put some more lines in there to give it the wood grain simulation. Well, it's been about 3 or maybe even 4 hours since I put the primer on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the trim and the windows in vintage white. I'm going to brush it on, and I'm going to do the wood siding in sage green. And what I'll do is I'll water these down a little bit. I keep a little bottle of water in one of these little squeeze bottles. You can get them, you know, in a 6-pack at they have them at Joann's and Michael's. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of paint into each one of these little things here. And I'll just take my nifty little tool right here that I used on the glue, and I'll just mix this up here. Mix that up a little bit. There's a selection of colors in this than there is in the spray paint, so you know, I just put primer on, and then I'll put this on. I'll put a little bit of water on my brush, and I'll do one of the small pieces first. You could adjust how much you could put on there. And if you make a mistake, you can just go over with a paper towel and hit it again. Just need a little bit more on that right there, so it wasn't quite enough. On the styrene, we're going to have to put a couple of coats on there because we're using the brush, and you're going to see some strokes, brush strokes in there. And like I said, we'll let that dry a little bit, and put another coat on it. I'm going to do the same color with the trim, so you want it to give it an appearance of several colors in there. So you want the little bit of the grays to show through. I mean, this was the greatest invention in the world, to make these little combs for the rafter tails, so you don't have to put each rafter in there individually. And then once I have these glued up into place, I'll have to catch the edges and edges of them on this and on the trim for the underside of the roof. Okay, so this is dry. I'm going to leave it like this. You know, you can see some of the gray looking through, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up a couple of these panels over here to make it look like it's aged and wilted. I'm going to distress the wood a little bit. What I'm going to do is take my X-Acto knife and go underneath this clapboard here and just slice right underneath it very lightly, and then go over it again and go a little bit deeper. Okay, and then what you could do is just lift it up just a little bit, and you could even break the wood. Sometimes I put like little slits in it, make it a little bit more than what you would normally think that they would be lifted up, because you know, because you're looking at it at such a small scale that you want to bring it up some. So here we go. There's the, you can see it distressed a little bit with the panels coming up. This is the paper that they use for the tar paper on the roof. It's got adhesive back to it, and they got little guidelines on there so you can line them up, and they line up with the you line them up with here. I mean, you don't have to follow them, but that's just a guideline, you know, so you can keep them straight. And what I do is I use graphite on that to simulate the tar paper. That's the closest thing to the old float coil grimy black. And for this, I just take it right out of the lid. I'll shake it up and get you a little bit in the lid. And if you need any more, you could just add some more. So I just go and paint it right across there. Okay, there's what it looks like. Don't worry, you know, you can see a little bit of the white dots in there from the guidelines, but I don't worry about that. Once you put it on there, you're not going to see them. And then for the edges and stuff on the underside that hangs over, I just touch it up a little bit with a small brush and use the same paint. I'm not going to go into painting these little shelves on the side. Usually what I do is when I do details, I do a lot of them at a time. So here's one that I already have finished. It's on 2 barrels and a makeshift table with a hammer, a brace, it looks like a little paint can, and a square on it. So I'm going to put that on the side. These walls, I put the corner pieces on. I glued them in place, and I'm just letting them dry right now. And then once they're dry, I'll cut along the roof line and then along the floor line. Okay, so you have a good cut in there. You know, it's easier to cut it a little bit long and then trim it down once the glue dries than trying to match the roof line before. To get the first piece started, I'm gonna glue this in here like this. I use the 2 squares together. I could do that with this one because it's so small, but I'll glue it together like that just to get it started, and then I'll tip it over, and then I'll attach the base, and then we'll be able to do the rest of them. Okay, I got all the four of the walls assembled. I got the bottom in there. I normally squeeze this with a little clamps, but this is so small, you know, that the clamps won't even fit in there. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just test fitting the rafters in here to make sure that they fit all right, and they seem to fit in the little slots okay. So I marked on here with a pencil where the access is going to go, and what I'm going to do is put a little bit of transfer tape on here. This 3M transfer tape is 3/4 inch wide, and I just pre-cut it so you wouldn't see me here fumbling with it. And I'll just put it right where it goes. And I'll just put it right there. Okay. And so when I'm ready to put the roof access on there, I'll just take the backing off of it and set the access on there, and it'll be ready to go. Before I apply the doors and the windows, I'm gonna hit this lightly with some sandpaper, just to give it a weathered look, so the paint isn't too fresh on there. See, I raised up some of the panels on the side, you know, just to give it that the old look on it. I did a few on the front here, not too many because I got to put the door on yet. And return it for the window. See, I'm working on the roof right now, putting the tar paper on off of the little strips here. See, I cut it a little bit long, and what I could do is, when I'm finished with it, I could fold it over a little bit for the ridge cap. You could either paint this over here and use this thin strip right there, or like what I did right here, I cut a little piece right here. I'll lift it out. Okay, and then I'll fold it and then let it sit there. Sometimes you might have to help it out a little bit, you know, once it's folded, and put a little bit of glue underneath it. This is
see it, Sparky.
express scale ballast. Right here, I just take the real fine and just rub it over the roof.
Swarm of flying insects
just to give it a.
The time they're going to deploy the SWAT.
It gives it a little gritty color, texture, and gives it a little bit of a different color, make it look like it's been, you know, walked on and weathered. I also put a little bit on here to give it a little bit of more weathering in it. Okay, now I'll peel this up the edge for the transfer tape and apply my little roof access on there. But anyway, see, it's sticky right there. So I'm just going to set it right down where I have it. And I'll just push it down in there for a little bit, and then we'll be good to go. A little bit of weathering in it, and looks good to go. Put the little tools on the workbench, little barrels underneath here. Got some of the tar paper peeling up on there. You can see the distressed door. I put the little door on Tom's Machine Works. I reattached the blocker furniture sign. Okay, and I weathered the roofs on here. Okay, and old Seymour, he got knocked off again, so what I ended up doing is I moved him a little bit further away from the edge of the sidewalk, so he's in a little bit better position, and hopefully he doesn't get knocked off again, because I knocked him off about 3 or 4 times already.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed what you saw and learned something. Continue watching my videos, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. And don't forget to subscribe right here.
Well, Seymour, he got knocked off again when we moved, and I have to search around for him because I couldn't find him in the tote. So I have no idea where he is. I might have to get another Seymour to replace him. So that was it for Seymour. Okay, I'm going to cut this off short here on YouTube because it's almost 7 o'clock. I'm going to do the swirly smoke on here and then keep it going on Rumble because I got twice as many people watching on Rumble than I do here on YouTube. So here comes the swirly smoke. I want to thank all of you for subscribing, for watching here on YouTube. I'm going to continue putting stuff here on YouTube, but I'm also going to be putting them up on a Rumble also. So here comes the swirly smoke. We'll see you again tomorrow night on YouTube and on Rumble. So thank you very much.
Engineer, where are you headed? Carry me back to Tennessee. Oh, I got a little girl.
Love it on Rumble. I'm getting more views on there than I am on YouTube, even though I only have 122 followers on there.
I'll shovel coal, Lord, to pay my fare. Gotta get this train down to the station. My little girl waiting for me there. Well, the night is dark and Lord, it's cloudy. I've been traveling that lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see me. Won't that Lord train carry me back? Around 7. Oh Lord, they hit Louisville about 9. And
There the smoke, swirly smoke.
started overheating, sending all of his love on down. For the night is dark and Lord is quiet. I've been traveling this lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see. Will that long old train back? Cloudy, traveling on that lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see me. For that long old train, won't you carry me? Oh, train, 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 won't you carry me home?
Good night, all. We'll see you on over at Rumble. And yes, check me out, Tom Kvichak, on over there. My YouTube channel is synced on Rumble. So I have all the YouTube videos over there also under Tom's Trains. But I have additional stuff on Tom Kvichak. So check that out over there. So thank you for stopping in. We'll see you. Let me cut this off here and continue on